This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I'm going to answer a couple questions here. Got a guy named Gavin who asked a question on Facebook. You can ask your questions anywhere. Facebook, you can send me a question to supertraining06@yahoo.com, or on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. So this kid, he's 16. He's getting ready to do a bench contest, and he's gained a lot of weight, and his bench shirt is super tight. Sounds to me like your bench contest is right around the corner. Doesn't sound like you can make any adjustments. So one thing you can do is you can wet down the shirt. You can also try to drop just a little bit of weight before the meet, which I normally wouldn't recommend. But if you lose 3 to 5 pounds, it could make a dramatic difference in how your shirt fits. Also, put garbage bags on your arms. We buy our garbage bags from Costco. We get a few thousand of them. We put them on our arms. Put them on the forearm to help get the shirt on. That'll help get your shirt on a little bit higher and a little bit further up your armpit, and it'll make the shirt less tense. Because you mentioned here that you have trouble touching in your shirt because your shirt's so damn tight. So you can also wet down the shirt. That'll help quite a bit. Bring a little squirt bottle, a little spray bottle, a little water gun, squirt it down with some water, and that should also help. Next question is in regards to the butt wink that we talked about in a previous video. A lot of people think it's tight hamstrings and think it's tight hip flexors and think it's tight glutes. Who really knows? Not really sure. It's hard to kind of identify in that regard. Sometimes I see tight hamstrings when I see someone squat like that, and sometimes I don't. So it's hard to identify. Do your mobility work. Go to mobilitywod.com and check out some of the stuff on there. Try to open up those hips a little bit. But really, it's not just a mobility problem. I think that's where everyone's making their mistake. Everyone thinks everything's a mobility problem. Everyone thinks that they can't move properly because they don't have the flexibility to do so. And I'm here to tell you that you're not only not mobile, but you're also weak. You're not strong enough to stay in those positions. Look at a young kid who's going to do a squat with a barbell on his back and watch him crumble at the waist and watch him lean real far forward to try to perform a squat. Why is he doing that? Why is he going to that weird default setting, that weird bullshit positioning? And the reason is he's not strong enough to maintain a regular positioning. He's not strong enough to maintain a regular squat, so he dumps everything into his lower back, and then he's like, okay, I can lift stuff with my lower back, so I'll go like this. They'll never get to parallel and so on. So it's not always just a mobility problem. A lot of times it's strength as well. And if you're performing a box squat real funky or even a regular squat, you got to ask yourself how long you've been doing it for. Before you start to make all these assessments that you have hamstring cancer and that you are falling apart at the seams and that you need to see a doctor, you need to get an MRI, and you need a cast, and you need this and you need that, ask yourself how long you've been doing it for. If you've been doing it for 4 years and you still suck, there's a problem. But if you've only been doing it for a few months and you suck, if you're doing a new movement that you've never done before, guess what? It takes a long time to learn some of this shit. So cut yourself a little bit of slack. We have people. People are all different body types. People are going to squat differently, and hopefully that helps kind of clear up some of the things about the butt wink. Again, I suggest that you just squat high for a little while until your mobility gets a little bit better, until your strength gets a little bit better. I have also mentioned in previous videos pause squats. Go down as low as you can. Try to pause in the hole. Come back up. Do sets of 6, sets of 8. You want to see how humiliating that is? You're not going to be able to use a whole lot of weight, but it's going to work your ass hard, and it's going to get you strong. Last question is, I got somebody who asked a question about bench shirts. How often do you wear a bench shirt? I wear a bench shirt about once a month, once every 3 weeks. When a contest is coming up, I may put it on as much as every other week, or sometimes 2 weeks in a row and 1 week off. Just really depends on my situation, depends on the shirt that I'm using. and how well I know that shirt. And then also they said, and do you always squat and deadlift in your gear? Pretty much yes. I don't really do a ton of raw squats and a ton of raw deadlifts, but that's going to change coming up because it's an area that I need to increase, area I need to get better in. But I've always excelled. I've always been able to put on the gear and go real hard in meets and beat a lot of people and surprise a lot of people. My raw strength is not very good. I can bench pretty good raw, but as far as squatting and deadlifting, it's not so good. But that's going to be something I focus on because it's a weakness of mine. You got to work where you're weak in order to be strong. And that's it from supertraining.tv.